Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
Let's start right here though, and this tweet is out of Jeremy Hogan, and he says, wow, I expected Ripple to come out swinging in this brief, and it did not disappoint. Hashtag Matt Solomon. This is the hardest hitting brief thus far in the litigation, and rightfully so. The SEC has spun itself a tangled web here, and I do not expect the judge to help them out. So, well, first of all, this is a great sign. Jeremy Hogan is clearly pointing out that Ripple filed one of its hardest hitting arguments to date. And this is huge because this Ethereum free pass speech is going to be critical to Ripple's arguments going forward. One thing that I thought he pointed out that I could not agree with more is right here. He says the SEC has spun itself into a tangled web here, and I do not expect the judge to help them get out of it. As I talked about on this channel multiple times, the SEC is in a lose-lose position here. Either the Ethereum free pass speech was Bill Hinman's personal opinion, and they have to hand over docs to Ripple regarding how Ethereum got this free speech from a guy who was all his personal opinion. There's clearly some hidden hands behind the scene here, and Ripple deserves to know who they are and what was going on for Ethereum to essentially get this free pass. On the other hand, if it was not Bill Hinman's personal opinion, Ripple is not entitled to the document. But if it wasn't his personal opinion, it was SEC guided, so therefore the SEC needs to explain to Ripple what's the difference between Ethereum and XRP, in which Ethereum deserves this free pass and XRP doesn't. Clearly, neither of these are beneficial at all for the SEC and goes against the entire case they brought against Ripple and XRP. Therefore, the SEC has found themselves stuck in this web where they can't really go anywhere without it seriously impacting their case going forward and possibly proving that their case didn't have any merit to start with. Overall, this is a very bullish note by Jeremy Hogan because it hits the SEC where it hurts most. They can't even get their story straight, and they're stuck in a web of lies their own agency has put out. This has gone a long way in proving to the court that there's no way Ripple could have ever had fair notice, because how could Ripple know what they were doing wrong if the agency can't even get a story straight? They brought this lawsuit against Ripple, so it is nothing short of embarrassing that they are having such a hard time communicating their own strategy regarding digital assets. I wanted to keep moving here though and show you another lawyer. His name is Bill. His opinion, he's been putting out a lot of great coverage regarding this case. He said the Ripple lawyers hit the SEC hard on their change of position regarding Hinman's speech. He also points out that this contradicts Hinman's sworn affidavit, so this is going to be a huge issue going forward. He points out that his favorite statement was that the SEC cannot manufacture an overlooked fact by contradicting its own prior representations. So what he's saying right here is Ripple's legal team was pointing out that the SEC can't just argue a fact, realize that they messed up and this fact is coming back to bite them, and then change their argument and act like they're doing it because the court misunderstood it. That's not what's happening here. The SEC messed up and they're trying to change their argument because they don't like where their mistake is bringing this case. What they're trying to do is saying, oh, the court misunderstood what we were saying. No, that is not what happened. The SEC claimed that Bill Hinman's speech was his personal opinion because they knew that would get them out of a scenario in which they had to compare Ethereum to XRP, and that would have been a case ender and prove that there was something fishy going on at the agency. What the SEC did not anticipate would be that them saying it was all Bill Hinman's personal opinion was going to make it so the Ethereum free pass speech was actually public to Ripple. This is something they completely overlooked. So now what they're trying to do is go back on it because they know if they have to hand over these notes from the Ethereum free pass speech, it could drastically hurt their agency's reputation as well as help Ripple win the case. So what Bill's pointing out here is the SEC is 180ing because they realize they made a mistake. And he says this is not what you should do as a lawyer. He says this is not how court cases work, and this 180 by the SEC and them trying to say it was just a court misunderstanding their argument is nothing short of another lie, and it's just the SEC trying to take back arguments they made earlier in this case. Last of all, I wanted to point out right here that he says how desperate the SEC must be to not disclose these documents. What on earth is in them must refer to XRP. So he thinks regarding the Bill Hinman emails, he thinks XRP was brought up multiple times in the drafts of the speech, and that's why the SEC is so desperate not to have them released. These emails are going to be so interesting. I pray we get to see them. I don't think we will, but it would be really cool. So, someone asked Bill, how would you score this exchange if it was a boxing round? And he said TKO for Ripple, if you mean specifically on this motion right here. This is huge because now we see Jeremy Hogan and this other attorney both saying that Ripple delivered a great response to the SEC's 180. This is a huge point in the case right now, so it is great that both of these lawyers think that Ripple is going to have a big win on this one. Another line that I saw getting a lot of attention in Ripple's response to the SEC's 180 was this quote right here. The SEC seems to argue that the speech should fall within an administrative twilight zone between a personal view and agency policy. So this is exactly what the SEC is trying to do, and I explained it pretty thoroughly before, but they essentially have these two scenarios they can go down. Bill Hinman's personal opinion or agency guided. Both of these lead to a loss because they both show corruption, uneven treatment, and a whole bunch of other things that will ultimately prove that Ripple did not have fair notice, and even if they did, XRP was never a security to start with. The only way the SEC at this point has a way of getting out of a loss on this side and a loss on this side is to stay somewhere ambiguously in the middle, in which somehow they don't have to hand over documents and they don't have to compare Ethereum to XRP. This scenario, I think, is extremely unlikely, and this is what the Ripple lawyers are calling out. The Ripple lawyers are saying the SEC can't just make this zone that never existed in which they get to do everything they want and completely disregard the law. That is what the SEC is trying to do right here, and that's why they call it an administrative twilight zone. And I just think that those words right there perfectly describe what the SEC is trying to push forward to the court. I also wanted to give you guys another lawyer's opinion. This is Fred right here. He says an absolute takedown by Ripple. Only reason Judge Netburn would agree to the SEC would be political. Hopefully she denies the motion next week. Then cue SEC appeal to Judge Torres. If the SEC loses, that would be the first realistic likelihood of a settlement in my opinion. So what he's saying is Ripple had a huge win. It is very unlikely the SEC can win on the merits here, simply because Ripple gave them an absolute smackdown with this filing. He says it is likely Judge Netburn, as long as everything is done in a fair way, denies the SEC's motion to 180 their argument. He thinks the SEC appeals this, then Judge Torres denies that. From there, the SEC is going to be stuck making a decision for the first time in a long time in this case. So far, the SEC's only tactic has been to stall. But when this happens, the SEC is going to have to make a decision. And that decision could ultimately lead to them settling this case. We know right now the SEC is simply stalling because time is a weapon for them. But once they are forced by the court to start producing documents or compare Ethereum to XRP, that is likely the first massive point we are going to have in which the SEC might try to escape from this case. So we certainly have some very critical things we need to be paying attention to that are coming up in this case. Last of all, we had to give John Deaton's perspective, and he pointed out something that none of the other attorneys are saying. Thank you so much to Deaton for everything he's been doing. He said the SEC now seems to suggest that Hinman's sworn declaration and deposition testimony were at least misleading. So right here we have the SEC saying, oh yeah, Bill Hinman's sworn affidavit was actually kind of confusing and you guys probably just didn't understand it. I don't understand what this agency's problem is. They are literally admitting that, oh, our whole first part of this case, yeah, we did a really bad job with that. So just forget about that, and we're going to go down this different avenue right now. That is not how you lawyer a case. That proves they're literally manufacturing all of this as this case goes forward because they are so desperate to try to win. It is not going well for them, and I just think we are so lucky that these judges have been so neutral and have been so willing to hear out both sides, and of how strong and how outstanding Ripple's legal team has been. Last of all, I wanted to point out to you guys that Empower Oversight, a third party investigating the SEC's decisions to give Ethereum a free pass speech, is making some serious strides. The other day, the SEC sent over emails to Empower regarding Bill Hinman's connections to the Ethereum Alliance and actually got a list of names of people involved talking to Hinman. And you guys have to go to DAI's Twitter and check out this list. There are some super interesting people on here, including Vitalik Buterin himself and Mark Andreessen. Guys, this is going to be huge. And I saw the list of documents the SEC sent over. They purposely formatted the list wrong because they do not want to hand over the actual emails that Bill Hinman was saying. It is clear the SEC is once again trying to stall. What they are trying to stall for, I don't know. Is it their ultimate demise? Are they waiting for an executive order? Are they waiting for someone to bail them out and settle this case? I'm not necessarily sure about that, but I do know one thing. Every single fact I've seen so far has gone against the SEC.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.